the Jet T3 out on departure to harden near Chester while the Chipmunks are positioning. Oh, that's a lovely sight. The lovely sound from the 145 horsepower
stays on
de Havilland
with that dark, quite nasty backdrop.
to say that all RAF Chipmunks were built in the UK. 217 were built in Canada, and the Royal Canadian Air Force used them. 66 of them, including the one we see here as the second aircraft in the formation, were built by OCMA in Portugal. As far as the RAF was concerned, it was the Oxford University Air Squadron at Kidlington that received the first Chipmunks to replace the Tiger Moths in early 1950. And soon they became far more widespread across the RAF Volunteer Reserve Flying Squadrons, other university air squadrons, the Air Experience Flights, and many, many other units.
It's a great line of aircraft when you see
one of the BBMF Chipmunks has an especially interesting background. It'd be very nice to see it here again for the show one year. One of the aircraft that flew with the RAF Gatto station flight in Berlin, where the cover story was that they were helping keep station personnel in flying practice. The truth was that Berlin offered great opportunities for photographic reconnaissance, and with very long focal length cameras with a camera operator in the other cockpit to the pilot, the aeroplanes were able to fly around the Berlin control zone and gather vital intelligence on Soviet troop movements, new equipment being brought into the Berlin area by Warsaw Pact forces, and so on. It was an amazing operation, and they were quite often shot at.
Probably the strangest spy aircraft you could imagine. But of course this continued up to, what, about 1990 or so?
Yes, of course, with the fall of the wall in 89, 30 years ago this year, the reason for them gradually diminished, though they did still have a role to play in covering the withdrawal of Warsaw Pact forces. But interestingly, they almost could have been a more unlikely successor, because they were looking at replacing them with Bulldogs. But then the wall fell, and all of that came short. Now, while the Portuguese Chipmunk, that's number 2 in this formation, is a privately civilian-owned example, Portugal has a very special distinction in the Chipmunk story, in that it's still flying them in current military service with the Portuguese Air Force Academy. They have an absolutely beautiful fleet of Chipmunks. They look gorgeous, they're beautifully maintained, and they, well into the 21st century, when far more modern aircraft are available, still uphold this aeroplane's use as an elementary trainer.
But there again, of course, the basics of flying remain the basics of flying. You may move on to a digital cockpit with was a grand display.
Very nice.
Variety is certainly the spice of Cosford. Mentioned earlier about the retirement of the Tornado. Well, we're pleased to have a number of those aircraft on the ground, of course. We've got a bevy of Jaguars.
Yes.
I don't think that's the right collective noun, but it will do for me.
at a horde of Harriers.
A horde of Harriers. Should be a bevy of Buccaneers, but there is only one, of course.
That Harrier display marking the 50th anniversary of the entry into service of the Harrier GR1 with the RAF, and it's a gathering that it won't be possible to see here for much longer because the red and white Vark Harrier, the Harrier T4, very early Harrier T4,